Okay, I love it when people tell me the mental load isn't real because it gives me an opportunity to give them real life examples of what the mental load looks like. And this is your example for today. So this morning, one of my mom friends texted and she was like, "We're going to go rock climbing. Do you guys want to come?" And it's a rainy day. And I said, "Sure, baseball's canceled. We'll come rock climbing." And so when you get there, you have to fill out a waiver, you have to pay. And then depending on what you have or don't have, you rent things. So you can rent shoes, a harness, and I think there's something else, right? But for the kids, typically it's shoes and a harness depending on their level of climbing ability. And for our kids, it's very low. And so we were waiting nicely and it was pretty busy. It was a pretty busy Sunday. There was a ton of people there, tons of kids, which was great to see. And we were next to this other family and this dad was up there and the woman was like, "Well, what size shoes do your kids need?" And he was like, "Oh, I don't know." And he looked at his wife and he was like, "What size shoe is she?" And the wife was like, "Oh, she's an 8." And he's like, "An 8 kids?" And she's like, "No, an 8 toddler." And he was like, "Oh, okay." And he's like, "It's an 8 toddler." And then they had a second kid and he was like, "What size shoe are they?" And she's like, "A 1." And he's like, "Toddler?" And she's like, "No, kids." And he's like, "Okay." And he's a 1 kids. And then it went on, right? Because for the harness, they ask how much the kids weigh. And he's like, "How much does she weigh? How much does he weigh?" And he had absolutely no clue what the answers to these questions were. And it was just so funny to me because it was just such a perfect example of what the mental load looks like. This wife just inherently knows what size shoes her kids wear because she's probably the person in charge of keeping track of whether or not they fit, buying them for school or for sports. And so she knows what size they are at all times. And he has absolutely no idea.